We just learned about the toughest skill set there is for a salesman to really understand and grasp, which is that of probing. Getting to that clear, concise, and mutual understanding of what really is going on and how you may be able to fit with your products and services into whatever that you've just uncovered. It's said, though, that in supporting, we really don't sell products and services. We actually sell solutions to problems. And that's what people buy. They buy the solution to whatever problem that they have. When we talk about probing and how we get into the function of supporting, we can't really get into this world of supporting until we know for a fact what we're dealing with and the priority of which those ideas or needs or issues are, at least in the eyes of the consumer or the customer, and then also in our own mind in terms of how would we begin to attack them. So building that clear, concise, and mutual understanding of their needs and knowing exactly the priority of them allows us then to be able to support much more easily. So when we're looking at supporting, we are really trying to hone in on addressing only those needs with only our products and services that make sense. We often find out, though, that this isn't the case. We often find that when we're out working with other folks and coaching and training other people and selling, that they oftentimes will unload everything they've got in their toolbox. All the features, all the benefits, all at the same time, and hoping some of that will stick with the prospective or with the customer. And in reality, that gives you so many more troubles than what it's worth. I can't tell you how many times I've dealt with people who've shot their entire toolbox at a prospect or at a customer, hoping that something would stick, and the customer look at you and go, no, that's not really what we're looking for. And as a result, you've got nothing left in your toolbox. What else are you going to give them as a solution? What else could you possibly talk about that would allow you to get some kind of edge or some kind of product or service in the door? Making sure that we fully understand exactly what these issues are and how to address them with specific needs and services is so key as you come into the supporting thing. The other element that comes into play, I think, really well, and that we as salespeople need to understand, is the difference between a feature and a benefit. It sounds elementary. It sounds like we should all know that because, after all, we're professional salespeople. But it's amazing when you ask somebody to describe a feature or describe a benefit of their product or service, that 9 times out of 10, they're only going to talk about one thing, and that's features. And features are the characteristics. It's the this boat comes in orange, or this color, or this car comes in red. Those are features of a particular product, but they're not the benefits of it. They're not the benefits which really begins to answer for the consumer or prospect. So what? Why is this important? What's this going to do for me? Which drives us into what I call the law. There are 3 laws in this whole program that I want you to remember, because if you really remember and focus on these 3 laws, it'll make your life so much easier and drive you where you want to be in the world of sales and in this sales conversation. The first law is that people buy with emotion and they justify with logic. It doesn't matter exactly what you're buying. It doesn't matter if you're buying a refrigerator, a car, a pair of shoes, or a purse. What matters is that you understand that we will make that choice. We will make that purchasing decision based on emotion, and we will back it up with logic. I'll give you a great example. And I love using this when I'm doing seminars on selling. And I talk about women buying Coach purses. Now, an average Coach purse is going to run you, what, $350 to $500, somewhere around there. But if you talk to somebody who owns a Coach purse and you say, wow, $500 for that handbag, you can get that at Target, or a similar functioning product at Target for like $49 or $50. What's in it? What is this whole thing about Coach? And why is it worth another $450 or $400 more? It's amazing the reaction you get with the person you've just said that to, because the defenses go up and say, you don't understand Coach. Coach is all about this, it's all about that, it's a brand name, it makes me feel good. And they begin to describe this whole reasoning, this whole logical reasoning, backing up their emotional buy of why they needed a Coach purse. So it's amazing when we look at no matter what we buy, men, golf clubs, motorcycles, automobiles. You just had to have a Corvette, really? Because what's happening in the world of buying a Corvette is the fact that you're emotionally satisfying something, and you'll figure out logically how to pay for it. It's just how it works. It is a law in consumerism. It's a law in terms of how we buy. We first get struck with the emotion, and then we justify it with logic. I'll give you a great example about this. When you're out buying this Corvette or this automobile, I often look at it and say, let's go to a General Motors car dealership. And you may have on the same lot Cadillac, Oldsmobile, and a Chevrolet. And when you first walk on that lot, what's the number one question you're asked? How much can you afford? And you could say $299 a month is what I can afford. But it really wouldn't matter what number you used. What's interesting is that the car salesman will always take you to the Cadillac first. You'll get into that Cadillac and you'll look at him and go, why are you taking me to a Cadillac? I can't afford a Cadillac. And oh, no, just go with me. Come into the Cadillac. So you sit in the Cadillac, and in this Cadillac, you're enveloped by this rich leather interior. It smells fantastic. You see the 6 CD changer in the dashboard, and the dashboard, by the way, is this beautiful rosewood. You look at the seats, and not only do they heat, but they also cool. You might look at the moonroof and sunroof, and you might look at the fact that all this gadgetry comes on automatically, and you're sitting there going, I can do this. I can see myself in a Cadillac. And so you sit back and you're kind of immersed in this whole experience of being in this Cadillac. And then he'll look at you and say, how much money did you say you could spend? And your reply again will be $299. But you know what, you can't afford that car. So I tell you what, let's come down here to the Oldsmobile. So he'll take you out of the Cadillac and he'll bring you into the Oldsmobile. Now, you got your one eye over there on the Cadillac thinking, this is really the car I'd love to be in, because I've visualized myself sitting in it. But as you're here over at the Oldsmobile, now you're sitting in maybe a leather seat automobile, or maybe it's pleather, I don't know. But you're also now dealing, instead of with a 6 CD changer, now you have a 1 CD that you manually have to put in and pull out. It's no longer the Bose surround system, it's some other kind of knockoff, if you will, kind of surround system. And you begin to feel like, you know what, this is okay, but it's not a Cadillac. No moonroof, and now instead of all of this beautiful wood on the dashboard, we've replaced that with some kind of a faux wood or a plastic. And again, you're looking around going, wow, this is okay, but I really like that Cadillac. How much did you say you could spend again? $299. You might not be able to afford this one either. Let's come down to the Chevrolet. So he'll bring you then down to the Chevrolet. And as you're at the Chevrolet, you're in a cloth seat. You have no CD player. You have an AM and FM radio. You have no heated seats. As a matter of fact, you're just in an automobile with basic air conditioning and a heater and no electric anything, or maybe a few electric things, but not much. And then you sit back and go, this really blows. I really don't see myself as a Chevrolet guy, because at a minimum, I see myself as an Oldsmobile guy, at a minimum. And I really wanted to get in that Cadillac, but I can't quite get there. What's really cool about this story is this is the psychology of selling. The psychology of selling is tapping into the emotion of what people really want and what they desire, what their ego tells them they need to have, and figuring out a way that you can tap into that and make decisions for them. So now you're back into that Oldsmobile. And instead of at $299, you're actually in at $379 a month. But you're in the Oldsmobile. The logic part will kick in and you'll say, Okay, I need to come up with another $79, $80 a month that I didn't really plan on before. So how do I do that? Well, then you begin to use your logic and say, well, we'll cut cable out. We won't go out nearly as much to dinner. That movie night that we have every Friday, instead we'll now do it every other Friday. And you begin to make some changes that help you justify this cost or make this cost come to life so that you can satisfy the need of being in an Oldsmobile. It's fascinating. When we start talking about features and benefits and supporting, features are all about logic. Benefits are all about emotion, which brings us to law number 2 in the world of sales. The law number 2 is people buy benefits. They don't buy the features, they buy benefits. And benefits are those things that emotionally attach to us, whether it's relieving pain, giving us pleasure, taking care of some stress that might be in our lives. All of those things are highly emotional. All those things are the reason why people buy stuff and things, goods and services. So when we look at this, how do we go about the process of supporting? We first of all acknowledge the need that was uncovered through the probing process. We say, you know what, I understand why you have that concern. Many other people have that concern. Let's see if we can figure out a solution for it. Number 2, you describe the relevant features and benefits to it. The key word there is relevant, meaning that you only give the supporting statement, the feature and benefit that meets the need that was uncovered. Keep everything else in your toolbox. You may need that later, but right now, just utilize what is relevant and what will meet and satisfy the need of the customer. Next, check for acceptance. Does that sound good to you? We talked about all these wonderful things. We've got these huge benefits that we've listed that are going to solve your issues and make you feel better and do some really cool stuff. Does that sound good to you? Does that sound like something you're interested in? And if the customer says, absolutely, that's perfect, that'll do exactly what I need it to do, you then begin to move on to closing.